group tips for everybody that, you know, may be trying to group or just getting into groups. So the first thing I want to show people is the little arrow that's over here. A lot of people don't realize this is even a thing. This is telling me where Cradle is. So if I move around, that arrow points directly towards Cradle. So if I'm facing this way, obviously Cradle is to my right. If I turn and face him, it's going straight up. So you can know where your group members are. So if you're trying to find them, especially when it's dark and you're trying to pull, if you're a puller or something, you're like running around over here, and you're like, where'd my group go? I need to run to my group. Well, you just go towards where the arrow is pointing. If the arrow is pointing straight up, you're going towards them. So that's a huge help. Another thing I was going to show people is the group, what is it called? Group mode. So if we do /help, you can see all the, whoa, why did that not do anything? Is it over here? Yeah, it's over here for some weird reason. But /help will list all the things that you can do, and then you could target group member or TGM. So if you want to target like Cradle, like say I'm not targeting anything, /TGM, and then Cradle will target Cradle, and then you can /assist, which will assist Cradle on whatever he is fighting. So those are two very, very, very helpful tips for people that are trying to learn how to use groups. And then the last one that I want to talk about as far as commands is concerned is this one right, loot mode. So you have /loot mode, and then you have to follow that up with something. And I think it gives you, there it goes, yeah. So right down here, when you type /loot mode, you have free-for-all. So that means anyone can grab whatever drops. I like to keep it on free-for-all when I'm duo. Round robin means that each individual person takes a turn. Master looter means one person loots everything and then assigns it to other people. So I would say for your random groups, you want to do round robin or maybe master looter if you trust the person that's doing master looting. So yeah, the round robin though can be really annoying because there's no need before greed or anything like that. So if a good item drops and it's not your turn to get that item, somebody else can literally just take it and it's their drop. But if it's good for you, then you may have to like talk about that. So I like to do either free for all if you trust everybody in the group, or master looter if you trust the person to divvy up items properly. Those are things that I would do. Oh, there it goes. It actually put it in there. I don't know why it wasn't working just a second ago. The next thing is utilizing your expose type abilities. So as you level up, you're going to find these abilities right here, like expose. So this one is the one I have on my warrior. It's going to put the mob into a specific state. In this case, it's going to be the exposed state for 30 seconds. And then someone else in your group, most likely, someone else in your group will be able to utilize that exposed state to then debuff the mob. And I'll show you that in just a second. I can do it with my cleric and my warrior using the open gap state. So there's several different types of state, like expose, off balance, open gap. I don't remember what some of the other ones are, but there's like a couple more different types of states. So definitely check and make sure that you're using these, because if you're not using these in a group, you're definitely hindering your group. You could do things like slow the mob by 20%. You could lower their resistances. You could lower their armor. You could do a bunch of different things with these different states between the different various classes, and it will help your DPS go up. It'll help your tank take less damage, help your healers out. And it makes these group mobs a lot easier. So there's a lot of people that are saying, oh, solo mobs give a lot more XP, which they can, depending on how you're fighting. But group mobs will actually give more XP if everyone is doing their job properly. So, yeah, you want to use the exposed state. So I'm going to pull this mob. I'm going to kind of show you using my cleric and warrior here how that works. So we'll pull this B over here, and I'm going to hit it just a second. So boom, 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 just to make sure I have aggro on it. And then I'm going to go over here to my cleric, and we are going to use the forced state. So if I used forced, whoops, I got to target him first, and I use forced, you can see that it now has open gap. That means that I can use my open gap finisher type ability, which is right down here, which is called Disarming Strike. So when I use Disarming Strike on this open gap, it'll change it, and I hit that button, and it now changes that to grappled, and it reduces it by 8%. You know that this is your buff. All of your buffs are always going to, or debuffs, are always going to have like yellow bars or yellow outline here. So this means that these are all my debuffs. But if I actually look at what Cradle's doing, if I get another buff up for him, you can see it's just got a red outline, which means that Cradle put that buff up. But Criddle put these buffs up. So debuffs are always at the top of the mob, and buffs are always going to be at the bottom, whereas your players, your own debuffs are going to be over here at the top, or buffs are going to be at the top, and your debuffs will be down here. So if I get poisoned by this mob, I'll be debuffed below that. You can also see the buffs on your party members right over here. Right now, the only thing I have on Cradle is this Prayerful Combat. So that's the only current buff that he has. But if I were to give him additional buffs, they would pop up over there. So I could do, you know, like his normal buffs, because I need to rebuff him anyway. So you can see here now he has the different buffs. So you can see who in your party has what buffs very, very easily. So you can make sure that everybody has the buffs that they need. Anyway, hopefully that helps out with some of the grouping stuff. Okay. A lot of people are confused about how grouping works, so I wanted to make like a quick video. I'm gonna post that up on YouTube here in a second, while I'm pulling these and killing these mobs. Hopefully that was enough information, but not overwhelming. Because I hate when people make videos on games and they just go on and on and on and on and on about a bunch of stuff that doesn't need to be talked about. So I'm going to try to be short and sweet with it.